You're listening to Public Safety First, a podcast to help you learn about the First Responder Network Authority and how you can be part of the future of public safety technology. And now, your host, Dave Buchanan.
Welcome to the Public Safety First podcast. In today's episode, we'll hear from Mike Varney. Mike serves as the Northeast Director for the First Responder Network Authority. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to meet Mike, Mike hails from Maine, lives in Connecticut, where he's worked for 30 years in the fire and rescue emergency medical services profession, including 14 years as fire chief of the Ellington Volunteer Fire Department. Mike interviews Deputy Chief Travis Hollis from the Rogers, Arkansas Fire Department, where he handles all IT projects for the fire department. In this conversation, Mike and Deputy Chief Hollis talk about the Rogers, Arkansas impetus for joining FirstNet. They talk about the experience they had and have had as a FirstNet subscriber for the last 4 months. They talk about the process they used for implementing FirstNet, and they talk about the future capabilities anticipated for public safety comms. Mike and Deputy Chief Hollis had this conversation at the IAFC Fire Rescue International Conference in Dallas, Texas.
Morning, it's Michael Varney from the First Responder Network Authority. I'm here with Travis Hollis from Arkansas, here at Fire Rescue International in Dallas, Texas. So Travis, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name is Travis Hollis. I'm the Deputy Chief over Special Operations and Training with the Rogers Fire Department. More importantly, I handle essentially all IT technology projects that we face in Rogers.
How'd you get involved in the fire service, Travis?
So I guess I got bit early as a kid as the bug. My grandfather had some friends on the Tulsa Fire Department. He always wanted my dad to become a Tulsa firefighter. So it was really through my grandfather. Fast forward till I was 18, started the volunteer department, and then just progressed into being a career firefighter.
So I know you're presently a FirstNet subscriber. Can you tell us what kind of was the impetus for you guys to want to be able to use that service?
So we got deployed to the Joplin Tornado in May of 2011, and one of the first things that became apparent to us is we had no communication to the outside. Everything that we had, we were reduced down to paper, and we had all this technology. We had mobile data terminals, but they were useless because the network was taken out. So that kind of put us in a little bit of a panic mode internally for the city. As how are we going to handle this event if it happens in Rogers, being in Tornado Alley, essentially, being in the south. So we started looking around. A few months later, ran into Brian Crawford, who used to be the Plano fire chief, and he was doing a presentation here at FRI talking about FirstNet, and it's like, this is something that we need to migrate towards. FirstNet, they really stepped up, and here we are in 2018, and we're about 4 months as a subscriber on FirstNet.
So what would you share with other departments that are thinking about switching over to use FirstNet for their service? Any trips?
With anything with deploying new technology, you just don't want to issue that silver bullet and vastly roll something out just in case there's an issue. So, one of the things that we did do is we started with command staff to evaluate and see how it's working. And once we were comfortable with that, we did roll it out to the rest of the units and rest of the staff members.
So how has your experience been with FirstNet and converting over and using the service?
FirstNet makes it very simple. It's as simple as changing out a SIM card. With the right tools, within a matter of 2 minutes, you're up and going as a FirstNet user. So it's been fairly seamless.
So how have you seen communications change over the last 5 years, and what would you like it to look like in the future?
Yeah, so communications, going back to those mobile data terminals, everybody has a problem with reliability a lot of times, it seems. And just being in Walmart headquarters area, Interstate 49 splits down through our city, and that's basically the main street for Northwest Arkansas. So at 8 o'clock in the morning and again at 5 o'clock in the evening, we would start seeing our units on that side of town, they would lose connectivity. So I wrote a batch file to ping Google every second to keep that connection live. And what we suspected, and then we confirmed from our hypothesis, is that they were shedding idle users when there was a heavy use on the network. So the great thing about since we've migrated to FirstNet is we don't see that issue anymore. It's, we got a steady connection when we need it.
So when you hear about the Internet of Life safety things and that whole connectivity with sensors, etc., what do you think about and how do you think everything will leverage that?
As we move forward, I can just see endless possibilities for Internet of Things, especially life safety things. My Apple Watch here, it knows my heart rhythm, so that got me thinking. I see a day where your watch or your wearable knows that you're having a medical event before you even do. It sends a signal to the dispatch center, and next thing you know, a ambulance or fire truck is rolling to your house and knocking on your door, saying, "Mrs. Jones, your watch detected you're having a dysrhythmia. You okay if we check you out?"
Do you see in the future using any sensors or unmanned vehicles in your use? See being able to leverage that?
Oh, absolutely. I can see one day as you pull up and there's a drone that deploys from your truck, and that gives that situational awareness, that instant commander. I see. Even to the point of not even issuing radios to riding positions, you issue them a cell phone with FirstNet, and you have a plug-in for your mic, and I see that probably in our near future, probably less than a decade.
So Travis, I know you do a lot of work. I know why you got involved in the fire service, but what makes you keep striving?
It's just being a public servant, and I think that being a public servant, you got to remember that every day you put on that uniform. It's not going to be heroes. It's not going to be everybody's happy to see you. I mean, we're going and we're solving people's problems on the worst day of their life, and you just got to remember that when you get up every day, is you're there to serve.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys at FirstNet. You've been great partners, and like I say, looking forward to what we can do with you in the future.
Thanks for listening today. We're excited to have you join our podcast community. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can learn more about the First Responder Network Authority at firstnet.gov and learn about FirstNet products and services at firstnet.com.